High protein lunch ideas. Title basically says it. Okay, this is where like I get I get really really simple with things, and I look at what are all the high protein foods available, and then just either eating them straight up or throwing them into something simple like a salad, for example. So let's talk about high protein foods. High protein foods, any meat, period. Particularly, I'd recommend lean meats, chicken breast, certain types of pork. Fish is a really good one. There was one other one I was thinking. Oh, ground beef, lean ground beef. Obviously, if you want to, you can add some kind of like higher fat options. Like certain cuts of pork are a little bit higher fat. There's steak that's a little higher fat, but still pretty high in protein. Chicken thighs and chicken legs. Those are going to be still high in protein, but a little more fat if you're able to. So that's a lot of meat-based options. And then there's dairy, so low-fat cheese. Greek yogurt is a really high protein option. I love that. Cottage cheese, another one. Milk is actually a very high protein option as well. Those are what come into mind for dairy options. Whey protein. Oh, duh. Whey protein, like literally a scoop of protein. So that's that. And then when it comes to vegetable options, anything with nuts, so like peanuts. And again, the vegetarian options, or these are vegan options because dairy is vegetarian options of protein, but vegan options or literally strictly plant-based, any type of nut, so like peanuts or peanut butter, almonds, cashews, those things. Tofu or soy is a really good one. There is actually stuff like legumes. So stuff like peas are actually pretty decently high in protein. Whole grains are actually not too high or not too bad in protein too. So like oats, whole grain bread, whole grain wraps, those types of things. Those are all pretty good when it comes to plant-based options. And even green vegetables, not a lot of protein, but more when you're coming to the protein option. So if you think about all of those, it really is trying to pair one of those high protein options with maybe something you like. So like, for example, the first thing I'm thinking of is like, okay, I really like chicken. So I'm going to have some chicken breast. That's going to knock out my protein option for lunch. And then what else? Well, I usually eat some chips, so maybe I'll have some chips, normal chips, nothing crazy, like Lay's potato chips. Not the best thing, but I'm still going to have like kind of that. So you have some chicken breast and some chips. And you can fill in anything for this. I'm just giving an example of what I might do. But then I say to myself, chips, like maybe not the best. Like I want a little bit of balance to that too. So I'll have like a little bit of fruit or maybe a little bit of a veggie. All right, not bad there. Probably one more thing, maybe two more things. I would likely either add another type of grain to it. Another type of grain. We didn't add a grain yet, so I'd add a grain to it. So like a whole wheat wrap that you can put the chicken in. And then from there, I would usually try to incorporate some other ingredient to make the protein work with the grain really well. So in this example, we'll say whole grain wrap with some chicken cut up, and then you can toss in some lettuce, you can toss in some peppers, you can toss in some salt and pepper onto that. That'd be good, no problem. So, and then you have like a chicken wrap. We can use the same concept for another food. So let's say we'll do oats because oats aren't really used that much. Let's say we're going to do oats. And you're like, oats, okay, well, I don't really want to eat it with just protein because that's kind of weird, but maybe I'll add a little bit of fruit and some oats, and that'll get some whole grains, a little bit of fruit, right? But I'm gonna have some a small plate of nachos. So I'm gonna have like a serving or two of tortilla chips, which aren't terrible. They're not the best, but when it comes to macro wise. But I'm going to have a serving of those. And then I'm going to have just a little bit of cheese, so there's some protein in there, on some lean ground beef. And then I'm just going to dip them in. So meat, cheese, maybe some salsa, and that. And then you kind of have like a little dessert. So that's another way you can look at it too, is just pairing the protein option with maybe your kind of snacky or junk part of the lunch. I'm not saying you need a junk part, but that's kind of how I do it, to have like still feeling like a human being while still trying to optimize my health. So yeah, really start with protein sources you like. Add in whole grains. Just Google whole grain options. I gave you a few on here. And add in a little bit of fruit or vegetable. And then don't feel bad about adding like half a cupcake or just something for fun too. But yeah, it's yeah, got it. High protein. The game's easy.